an admit from the school, it's you will, you're very anxious to know what kind of profile it is. And it's very interesting to me. The schools always choose a wide variety of like candidates. Like even my class has like extremely experienced people who are like surgeons and specialized in their fields. They have done their MDS, and then some who are like, I've been an administrator for a long time. I've done MHA and I've been doing that. And there are students who are like recent grads. So I think they always pick a mix. So even the smartest people, they might get in. Sometimes they don't get in the first cycle. And it's always important to have that, like center yourself, and know that it's not you. It's just how the cycle goes for every student. So, and as we go through the webinar, I'll tell you guys that I'm a crazy believer of positive energy, crazy believer of affirmations. So you have to be your greatest cheerleader. So write down that you're going to get into a United States school in the Caapid cycle of 2025 and stick it wherever you can see every day. That really like motivates you. You tell your mind, your mindset changes and you're more positive, because it really gets heavy when you start getting like admits, interviews, rejections. It's a mix. So I would highly encourage you all to like be very positive in this cycle. That's my starting wisdom.
Uh, I love that we have not even started the webinar and she's already started coaching.
Yes,
This
yes,
is
I'm.
Flynn, for once, you don't have to do your regular thing. I
yeah,
think Mano's
I
going
don't
to
have
do that
to.
as well.
No,
Thank you.
guys, I'm telling you, please manage me. I'm very bad. My dad is an English professor and he is an orator as well. He gives a lot of motivation speeches and all. My entire family teases, if you give TVR or Mano mic, they won't give back. So you guys have to be very, manage me. Tell me like, time check and everything.
No, yeah, time check we will, otherwise no management. But okay, everyone, welcome again. We will get started officially.
Mhm.
This is Dr. Mano. There's a certain level of familiarity here because we know each other from before and her, but that's why.
Mhm.
Please excuse the banter, but we are here for, of course, the information.
Yes.
The powerhouse, like I mentioned, she is, and more than
Thank
that, I think. And this is not my intros are not to like fluff up the person. It's what we really know of them, or if we have not worked with them. So Mano, the thing about her is she's open to helping with very simple
you.
terms, if I were to say, which you can see she was, the video that she had put up on Instagram, you'll see the level of familiarity there in terms of just people and how she talks to everyone. She's open to engaging and communicating. And I would love it if all of you really, I'm going to use the word utilize and manipulate, if I may, not in a negative connotation, but use that this time and get whatever information you need from her. I'm Mano, before we begin, you've given a bit of an introduction per se, but then you can go ahead and give them an official, maybe introduction where you tell them what you've done and in terms of your profile, so that they also know what kind of questions they can sort of point at you. And before that, it makes me extremely excited that there are like around 3 or 4 people whose cameras are switched on. This is amazing. This will make it more engaging, I'm sure. And any more people are willing to do that, please do. And let's get started. Dr. Mano, over to you if you could tell them a bit about yourself.
Thank you so much, Flynn. That was amazing introduction. I'm very humbled. So a quick intro about me is I am a grad from Hyderabad Panini Institute of Medical Sciences from 2013. I graduated in 2013 and immediately came to do my MHA because I had gotten a scholarship in University of Missouri for doing public health, actually. 6 months public health. I'm an extrovert. Public health is very, statistics, a little dry. So I did a grad certificate in public health and moved to MHA. And then since graduating in 2016 October, I have been in clinical quality ever since. So I worked in New York in Mount Sinai, one of the very prestigious healthcare systems in US, and Brooklyn Healthcare University Hospital, and then moved to Georgia. And then I worked in Piedmont for almost 5 years. where I think most of my evolution of career happened. I became manager, clinical quality manager for oversight of orthopedic surgeons across the state. And then I, of course, in this meantime, I got married. I have like kids, and I decided to give my integrated board, no, not integrated board, NBDB Part One in 2020 when I was like 8 months pregnant. Very bad decision. I couldn't sit through the exam. I literally couldn't finish the exam. So I told myself, okay, this is not happening. And then finally decided to again give a good attempt to the cycle because I was not ready for the cycle. So in 2023, I wrote my integrated board, passed it in first attempt, and then did my TOEFL. I got 113 in that. And then applied to the cycle. Like I said, mentioned in the beginning, I wanted to be extremely positive about the cycle because I've heard from like by then multitude of candidates, my seniors, juniors who had done that. So for me, I was again pregnant last year when the cycle started. So I was like, this is my one goal. I was at a career crossroad where my manager was like, if you want to grow in management, this is your chance. If you want to be an independent clinical provider, then there's one shot that we want to give you. And my healthcare system, my work was very supportive of that. So I took that shot and everything kind of worked out. And I was able to get admits from Buffalo, Indiana University. Indiana was the first to offer the admission. And then I got interviews from Minnesota and University of UOP, University of Pacific Arthur Dugoni. But again, like I mentioned, it's an extremely competitive cycle. So I want you all, whoever is going first time or multiple attempts, please don't lose hope. I have so many classmates who are like third attempt, or I have met people in the cycle who are still trying. It's their fifth cycle. So it is crazy when you look at the profiles. There are a wide variety of people applying, extremely experienced new grads, people coming from different I think careers and coming back to do DDS. I think all the universities appreciate that wealth of knowledge every candidate brings to the class. And every university is very proud and flaunting that they have selected a wide range of candidates. So I think it's very important for all of us to be positive. I think I said positive probably 100 times now. You should be.
Yes, you definitely should be positive. I think a lot of takeaways from what Mano said, and please take them away while she speaks to you during the call, because these are things that you'll need to tell yourselves throughout your application journey. And like she said, writing it down or visualizing it somewhere will help, just like how it will help to visualize your story for a statement, for your interviews. The same logic works everywhere. Manu, a few questions on what you said right now. So one thing that struck my mind is I remember that there was a particular time, or rather you did take a while before you chose to apply, right? Like after your
Yes.
MPH, you did
Yes.
work like
MHA.
with MHA, administration and all of that. So why that gap, or rather did that gap affect your application? Because a lot of people come with that spectacle feeling as to like skepticism as to, do I apply? I did work as this so and so for 3 years. Will they think that I'm not interested in dentistry? It's difficult for a lot of us to admit that life happens and we have to work during some times. We get back and all of it. So what is your take on that? What was your experience?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I want to tell this to all the candidates here that, like I said, universities really appreciate that candidates come from different walks of life. They understand, they're ultimately people in the admissions committee. They're professors who have had like great experience in selecting candidates. So they are looking at people who have had gap as well. So it is very important to kind of frame that in your SOP and your CV. If you have done any volunteer work, or if you have done anything, let's say MHA. A lot of people, when I was trying to mentor students, they were doing health informatics. I think it's very important to tie back in whatever you're doing to why you want to do DDS. Like my why was I came to a career point in my MHA where the growth meant less work-life balance for me, because my meetings were happening with anesthesiologists, surgeons at like 6 a.m. in the morning, 8:30 p.m. in the evening. And I, being a mom of two kids, I was like, I wanna be in charge of my career and then have that freedom. So the admissions committee did ask me that question, like, why did you take a gap? And then my answer was that if I'm giving my application, like if I'm putting an application in front of the admissions committee, I want it to be well rounded. So I had a lot of like community experience as well. Any little thing, guys, like whatever you have done. For me, like I am very spiritual. So I was very involved in the Hindu temple organizations in my community. And I was even doing like, I'm part of a HOA, like, there are neighborhoods in US, and we live in a neighborhood where I'm part of the welcoming committee. All I do is like, throw flyers, send people, say, hey, we have a meeting, come. Every and any little thing that I did where I was not paid and I spent my time and I enjoyed it, I was able to put it in the application. You have to be very, I want to use this word, strategic about what you're putting. So they kind of understand that, okay, this person is not just sitting idle, but is trying to gather like different experiences that's going to make them a good dentist in the United States. Um, and another thing, I think what the admissions, I just have my AirPods, I'm trying to set them. One of the things that admissions committee also kind of looks, which Flynn asked about, if the experiences are making you a more culturally sensitive person. Because right now, as you can, I'm sure all of us from the news understand that United States is going through like dynamic changes politically, and people are very like concerned or interested if you are like culturally, if you're going to deliver culturally sensitive care to different people. So all those experiences that you gather are going to show the admissions committee that, yes, I'm ready to treat a white person who walks in, African American, Spanish person, or an Indian American who walks into my clinic. I'm going to ensure that whatever experience that I've gathered, I'll be able to manage the patient and provide the ultimate like quality care, dental care. So that I think all that you have to strategically put in your SOP. And one thing that I really appreciated Caapid Simplified was, and I wrote notes of this that I wanted to tell you candidates that admissions committee knows about AI, guys. Like everybody like is using Chat GPT, AI. They know that, like, using Grammarly for correcting your SOP, making it more grammatical, checking for spelling errors. They're totally comfortable with that. But what they don't appreciate is the SOP looking very mechanical, like as if some AI has vomited it out, and it doesn't. If I look at let's say I'm looking at Ramiza and Simran, if your SOP like gets vomited out by Chat GPT, it's not going to be Simran or Ramiza. You are the ultimate person who knows your story. So for me, it was very important for like experienced set of eyes to look at the SOP. So I did my homework, wrote my SOP, the first draft, and Meenakshi and Clint can vouch for that, and presented it to Caapid Simplified and said, hey guys, this is my draft. And they're really good with it. They sit down with you, they talk through that. And ultimately, like, it's Manogna's journey, not Caapid Simplified's journey. So I think it's important for that person to like come through that SOP. And these days, universities are like really, they said anybody that wrote a AI based SOP was just tossed out, unfortunately, because there are a lot of people really working hard and trying to get their application in. And then if a person does not pay attention, does not do their homework, or does not work hard to ensure that you pop out in that application, they're just gonna move on to the next person, because there are like so many qualified candidates applying for the seats. So I wanted to like tell that to you guys, to ensure that whatever your LOR, I know no professor has time for writing your LOR. So you have to write in such a way that they are trying to highlight at least one good thing, one important thing. Like, deans don't remember all of us by person, but there must be something very specific, something that you must have done where the dean would say, hey, you know what, I know this person, I'm going to write about this person. So it has to be a little personalized. They accept like standard letters from dean, but the rest of the professors that you're seeking or the dentist that you have shadowed or assisted, I think a little personalization of the letters and SOPs goes a long way.
Yes, absolutely. I just want to address one thing, Dr. Ramiza, before we go to you and Rahi, that Mano said, which is about AI. So I'm just addressing it because there's a lot of fear surrounding it, as all of us know. So I just want to clarify that what I understood about what Mano said is that there's a certain element when you write through AI. There's one example I'm giving you is, for example, when people come to work with us, we also see when someone gives us an input, we can also sort of identify that this might be AI. So we go and ask them. We are not professionals in detecting it, right? But we have a feeling because we write. So one pointer, for example, is ChatGPT quite often uses a lot of furthermore, nevertheless, and like there are no personal connectors because they don't. There's a lack of personal touch in AI for now for sure. So that will sort of come through. So that's just one example. So what Mano is trying to say is, your story should personally run through the statement, and it should not sound generated by a machine. That being said, Mano, I'm not sure how if you've heard about this from the cycle as well. Increasingly, every cycle, people are very, very scared about this because sometimes even when you guys write your actual statement, put in all the time, AI detection shows that it is, AI generated by 50%, 60%. So that is something that is a little out of our hands now. But if you know something about from inside the school, Mano, and you can share, amazing. But in general, I want to tell all of you, take that with a pinch of salt. As long as you have done your work and you've tried your best to make it sound personal, then you just have to sit back and wait because this is something that everyone's struggling with. It's very sad because sometimes when you write your own thing, it still shows AI generated. And I know that at least 10 out of like all 10 to 15 of you all are freaking out about it. So there's nothing to be done now, but hopefully the technology grows and then, we grow along with it. It's like how like I recent, like how nowadays in this generation or maybe a generation, I don't know, even I grew up seeing phones from my high school. So there's a certain sensitivity that this children should be given because now they're exposed to information, right? You can't take away information from them. So similarly, the AI thing is also like a growing thing. Some level of sensitivity is required around it. Schools should also be taught how to take this, but it's still happening. So please don't let that stress you out fully. But like she said, make it your personal story as much as you can. Because sometimes if it's really personal, it just comes through. They know that this is written by someone and the flavors of your life and your emotions have really seeped through. So yes, just wanted to address that giant elephant in the room. In the room,
Yes.
the last two cycles, people are obviously freaking, like definitely freaking out. And we also just one thing that I want to say to assure is which I'm hoping will give some assurances. When I had a sit down with the senior director of admissions at ADEA-CAPID, there's something that she also said that it's still a growing thing, and schools are not high. Not every school is highly like scrutinizing it to a level where everything and anything is considered as AI yet, because they are also figuring it out. So as long as you keep it personal, like Mano said, you should be on the safer side.
Yes. I wanna. That's a great point, and I think you have very nicely put, Flynn, about you can't unlearn it right now. AI is out there; everybody knows. So like Flynn said, there's no software right now. At least what I was told by IU and Buffalo when I spoke to the admissions committee afterwards, there's no software right now that's going to detect the um, AI, but there is a software, Turnitin. I think most of the people who have done masters in US know Turnitin is a software for plagiarism. Like if you take a SOP from a friend who's a candidate and who's like been part of the cycle, you try to copy it. The schools know because once your documents get uploaded into ADEA-CAPID, they are part of that database. And Turnitin is a software that detects the plagiarism that this person has copied certain part, but there's no software to detect the Meenakshi is like, yeah, okay. But there's no software to detect the AI. But like I said, there is a very easy, it looks very mechanical. And trust me, there are some of my friends who have done, hey, ChatGPT, can you write this as a human? Still, guys, it's not your story. It's gonna. Yeah, I mean, we all know English. We can like make basic sentences up. Nobody's looking for a poetic like SOP. And another thing that admissions committee shared with was some of the SOPs are very, they digress from the topic. Like they are very distracted from the point that they're applying to DDS. You go into telling your story and then it becomes entirely just your story, not the why behind why you want to apply to, ADEA-CAPID and you want to get into DDS in a certain cycle. So I think it's that fine balance. That's where CAPID Simplified comes into picture, for me at least, was like, I'm writing all this story, I want to tie it back into getting the DDS admission. Guys, this is what I wrote as my first draft. Can you help me with your experience set of eyes to let me know if I'm going in the right direction? I think that helped. And I did take, once my SOP was final, to the dentist, the American dentist that I was shadowing. And he was I think everybody genuinely wants to help you, genuinely wants you to succeed. So if any dentist that you're shadowing, assisting, take it to them, ask them, can you just read through and look, how would you feel? No, does it look genuine? And everybody's ready to help. So I just want to clarify that there's no software right now in ADEA-CAPID or supplemental applications where it detects AI. But there is Turnitin, plagiarism, that will tell if you have copied the exact answers from previous candidates, previous entire set of candidates who have applied in ADEA-CAPID. Yeah.
That's nice to know, because I think the primary worry is that AI
Yes.
detection software. So that's
Yes.
good. All right. So let's, I'm not sure which of you raised your hands first. Let's just go with Dr. Rahi and then we'll go to Dr. Rumiza. Yes, Rahi.
Hi, Dr. Mona.
Hey, Rahi.
So I have a question for you regarding my LOR combination. So I also did my master's, and then I was working as an office manager and as an assistant as well for some time. And I'm currently enrolled in the preceptorship at Rutgers. So I want to know definitely a dean and my professor back from India. So what would be the best combination, like a professor from Rutgers, like from a preceptorship, or someone who knows me for 8 months where I worked as an assistant?
Oh, that's a tricky one. So I think one of the most important things, if you're part of like Facebook groups in CAPID, you'll hear kind of same sentiment there as well, that the schools, whatever they say is requirement, like they need one from dean, one from professor, one from a dentist that knows you in US. I think it's very important to kind of follow that criteria. Because some of the schools that are really interested to kind of understand the student better or applicant better do give you an opportunity to upload additional LORs. And most of the times they have a document section or additional document section in the CAPID application where you can like upload anybody else that you think is going to add. So I'll give you my example. Maybe that can really help you. So I gave one from my dean, one from professor as well as my employer. He was my employer as well back in India. And then one from my shadowing dentist. The additional LOR that I had was really the chair of the governance council that I was serving, who had known me for 5+ years. So he even though the dentist I was shadowing was only for 2 years, but he was dentist, right? And he knows my like maybe patient management, communication aspect, something. So he was really able to build on that, versus the chair was able to talk about my administrative skills. So I think it's important for somebody who can talk about your clinical skills or patient management skills, somebody like that. So if you're shadowing like dentist that you're assisting for 8 months, if he's able to really give you a nice personalized LOR, I would say go with that, and then add the professor from Rutgers as an adjunct, like additional whatever like university wants you, because they want one practicing dentist that actually has observed your work. That really makes it, more distinct, if I may.
Okay, thank you. Because I was confused, because I know a lot of schools like Tufts, for example, they have clearly mentioned right now on their website stating that a letter should be like from a US dentist who you have worked for minimum 1 year or who you have like gained experience.
Yes. Toughs. I have feelings about toughs. So I don't want to put any bias out there, but I was able to attend multiple webinars of toughs last year, and the director of that program is very strict. He is very particular because again, every school gets a lot of qualified candidates. Tufts is also a very competitive school, so I would really follow the criteria. And again, you have brought me to a good kind of point, Dr. Rahi, where I feel like all the candidates have to make a list of the schools that they want to apply. Of course, the more, the better. I applied to 18 schools. I'm not going to lie. Like I said, first attempt, I was like, I'm going to go all out here. But then I had my top 5 schools that I was like, I want to meet the criteria of these 5 schools, no matter what. I want to ensure that every aspect of my application really caters to the 5 of them. And then the rest 13 are going to just, be whatever the best I have. So if Tufts is on your top list, I would really follow that criteria and ensure your application matches to what they want.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Sure.
That's quality advice. I think that's amazing. Yeah, you should really try to know what your goal is in terms of applications, because you can't win all, unfortunately. It's a central
Yes.
application, right? So I think that top 5 or top 10, whatever you want to, is like a good strategy. Dr. Ramiza, let's go. Your audio is muted. You can, yes.
Hi, Dr. Mano. Thank you so much for sharing
Hey,
your
Dr.
insights.
Hamiza.
Yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
sure all of us really appreciate it. So my question is, my journey is very similar to yours. I graduated in 2014. I moved to Canada in 2015, and I enrolled in a dental assisting program. And ever since then, I've been working as a dental assistant. So initially, my plan was to apply to schools or go to the direct license process in Canada. But obviously, I do see a gap where I want to go back to school, and there are more schools in the US. So how did you address it in your, my question is, did you address it in your personal statement, that why did it take you so long to apply for dental schools? Because I do think that's a big part of my journey. Why did it take me so long? So I'm not sure if that's something I should, yeah.
Yeah, that's again a great question, Dr. Ramiza. Thank you for asking that. So I did mention that in my SOP, honestly. For me, life was happening simultaneously, but I wanted to, like, I was actually enjoying the work I was doing. That's what I said in my SOP. Like, I was really getting a kick out of managing the orthopedic surgeons. There was this high, being able to track the quality metrics, educating the physicians about it. I was able to put that in my SOP and say, when COVID happened, there was that switch where all the electives of ortho were shut down. I was in all hands on deck situation. I was volunteering in the hospital. I was like 3 months postpartum. I was like, this is gonna sound so silly when I say it out loud. I was like, I don't want to die without getting a DDS license. I was like, what the heck? This is what I came to do to United States. So I think all of us have that aha moment where you're like, okay, I think I have done, you have, of course, gathered a lot of skills in assisting. I want to be honest, we have a lot of Canadian dentists who have been assistants, and that really plays a role. I have seen their skill level. It's really like good. And the admissions committee, I think you guys from Canada give a good competition to other candidates. So I would really highlight that, saying you really enjoyed your assisting, you were learning a lot, you were going with the flow. And then at a point, maybe the dentist who you were working with motivated for you to say, hey, you know what's next? You've been doing this for a while now. And then you were like, okay, I think it's time for me to get serious and apply. Or you were like, I thought of doing it in Canada, but the schools kind of did not, fit my criteria. So I wanted to search for schools in US. So I think that personal things that you write in your SOP, trust me, guys, they read every SOP. We were amazed when Dr. Kovalik, who's the director of IU, when she met me in bench, she was like, Mano, I read about your dad being a Navy veteran and you having a bad root canal when you were 11 years old. I was like, dude, how does she remember? Like, that's how the admissions committee. And another insider thing is they really hire people through this admissions time to read through everything that we submit. So literally people are sitting, there's a group of people doing just this day in and day out because they have this tight timeline. And I'm sure that's what happens at Caapid Simplified, right? You are very busy extreme, like during this cycle. So that's what happens. So I would say go for it. Give your personal reason why you wanted to continue assisting, and then what was the aha moment that kind of, turned that, and yeah, you came for the
Yeah.
application.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your insights. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Good luck, Ramiza. I hope the cycle goes well for you.
Thank you so much.
Doctor, yes,
Is this your first cycle? I just want to ask a quick follow-up question.
This is actually not my first cycle. I actually have learned a lot, and I've done a lot of reflection. And I think the biggest mistake I did was that my personal statement and my letter of recommendations did not have a personal touch. My personal statement was it wasn't chat GPT, but it was very superficial. And I think was part of a lot of groups on Facebook, and they all said, don't tell your personal story, that they don't want to know your personal story. So I kept it very like robotic in that sense. And my letter of recommendations, I think the people because I've also worked in Mount Sinai Hospital, Toronto. So
Awesome.
my letter, yeah, that's why I was like, I think it's a very similar story and similar journey. And so my recommenders, I think basically ChatGPT my letters. Because later they sent it to me as well. And I was like, okay, well, I don't care because it's coming from a doctor. I don't think the schools will care. But I do think looking back, schools care, because I did reach out to a few schools because I wanted to know what could I change? Like, what could I do more in this cycle that I haven't done already? And a few schools actually did tell me that we're surprised you got no interviews because you have everything that your a profile should have. In my head, I was like, okay, it's good to know that, but it's also kind of disappointing because now it's not in my control to fix everything. But obviously, giving a good personal statement and letter of recommendation is.
It is. You bring up a good point, Dr. Ramiza, about, there are Facebook groups that say, don't write your personal story. I kind of agree with that. Like, that's what I was alluding to. Like, don't write your personal story so much that you digress from the reason why you're applying to DDS. Now, but like, make it more personal, saying why it took certain time, or why there are people who are like applying it right out of like school, right out of graduation. Why do you want to do DDS? So they have their own story, which absolutely is different from why Dr. Ramiza wants to apply. And I want to assure you that schools don't care about if it's your first cycle or fifth cycle. Like, they don't. They want to, like they said, they want to see an improvement in your profile and application. And then if there anything that you have reflected from your past application cycle, I would say that. Saying, failure made me, like, don't highlight your failures, like saying, I wrote saying, hey, I failed my part one. People were like, yeah, I don't think you want to say that. I'm like, okay, I'll probably skip that. So maybe don't highlight all the failures that you have, but kind of tie it back into how, everybody loves an underdog story. So you should just probably highlight that. So yeah. No worries. Keep going. You'll get it.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Ramiza. Dr. Tamanna. Not sure I'm
Hi, Dr.
pronouncing your name
Maya.
correctly.
Yeah, you pronounce it very correctly, Tamanna. Yeah. Hi, Dr. Maya. Nice to
Hey,
see
Dr.
you.
Tamanna.
I actually
Absolutely.
I also have the same thing. So I also did my master's in healthcare administration. So now this is one of the things that I want to ask you. Would it not look very weird that some person who did BDS back home, then did masters in healthcare administration in Canada or United States, then now again want to go to DDS?
That's a good question. I would say, I mean, it wouldn't look weird, honestly, because this is my take on it. You might not like the answer, but they're like public health graduates, MHA graduates, and then health informatics graduates. These are the three main buckets that kind of apply back. And then there are residents who have had years of experience, like they have done their MDS, I'm sorry, MSD is here, MDS back home, and they want to apply here. The schools understand, like as an MHA grad, trust me, when you get out of like DDS, when you are hired to be an associate dentist or the practicing or managing dentist for a private practice, you would have a lot of skills that your peers might not have who have done a different degree. So, and the school recognizes that. So there are people who have done MBA. I have a friend who did engineering, cybersecurity, and he's a dentist.
Oh, wow.
So the school is like, what the heck? But they love it. Like you will get an experience that no other candidate has. So I think the skill is, again, strategically tying that back to how are you going to apply that. For me, I've done, all I have done is clinical quality. I did not touch a hand piece in 6 years. I went to like bench course prep in Buffalo because I wanted to go to a school to learn the basics of American way of doing things. And when I touched the burr, like as soon as my hand piece and burr and everything touched the teeth, it was like riding a cycle, muscle memory. Everything kind of came back, flooded me with the skills that I needed. And the school appreciated that. I have a skill set that my peers who have done oral surgery do not. I don't have the skill set that they have. So I think for me, it was very interesting to say, I am going to ensure that every patient that walks into my clinic has a quality check. That is, one of the major malpractice insurance like claims is dentist operating on the wrong tooth. So as a quality person who has done MHA and has been in clinical quality, my job is to ensure that I have read and repeat back system with my assistants. If I am touching a tooth, I want my assistant to say, hey, Dr. Mano, we are doing number 30. I will say, yes, we are doing number 30. And then we are drilling number 30. So I was like, I'm going to apply those skills. And the admissions committee appreciates that. You're going to bring those clinical quality, try to ensure that, dentistry is quality driven as well, which is the goal, kind of like more, I think, value-based medicine. Most of you know from claims, MHA, health informatics that you have done. Value-based medicine is something that a physician gets based on their quality of performance. It doesn't happen like that with the dentist yet, but dentistry is going towards that. So I'm kind of going to use my skills there. So anything that you have gotten from your MHA, I think you can definitely like apply.
Like, should I also like mention that in the SOP, and also write that like while I was not doing dentistry, like there's a gap in clinical practice, like what I was doing to continue that practice, like so that I don't forget, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Should I mention that?
So if you have done any specific project, either dentistry related, something that you were, either administratively managing, maybe let's say you were reducing the admission rate in a hospital, anything that you think you can apply the kind of technique that you use there back into dentistry, I think they appreciate that. So you can tie it back in. And then if you have any specific examples you want to think and put it in the chat, I'll be happy to say, hey, yeah, this makes a good connection.
Okay.
While I answer the others.
And can I ask another question?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So I was also thinking, like, is it a good idea to mention on your SOP why you had a low GPA during your BDS?
Honestly, guys, they don't care. Let me tell you a very important thing. Again, I'll probably get heat for this. If you are an Indian grad, you want majority of your objective criteria. This is the objective criteria, and then SOP LORs are your subjective criteria in an application. Board attempts, TOEFL scores, all these are like objective criteria. Like you have to get certain score in order to be in that cutoff. Are you an Indian grad?
No, I'm from Pakistan.
Yes. You are good. If you have low GPA. I'm sorry, my Indian friends. It's tough out there. There are so many qualified candidates from India. So the journey is a little tough, but absolutely. every school, the school makeup is, the class makeup is in such a way that there are quite a good number of Indians in every class. So it's not all like doom for us. Absolutely, there's light at the end of the tunnel. But as a Pakistan grad, I think you have, as long as you're able to justify the reason for your low GPA, any circumstance, usually personal circumstances, or there's a learning curve, obviously. A lot of the students who have low GPA probably did not do very well in their medical subjects. Anything like that, you can absolutely justify that. And unless you draw attention to that, the admission committee usually doesn't care.
Okay.
Yeah. If
So it's better to just leave it out.
your TOEFL, very like multiple pass attempts, your SOP and not yours, X and Y Z's SOP sucks, LOR suck, and the GPA sucks. It's a tough luck. But if you're like making it up in the rest of the other like criteria, I think they don't just look at the GPA.
So it's just better to just leave it out. Like,
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, mention it in your, obviously, like, I think one of the standard formats in the CV is to just write your GPA. I think everybody does that. I think you can mention there. But unless the admission committee says, hey, Dr. Khatri, can you tell me why your GPA is low? I wouldn't just bring it up.
Okay. Makes sense. Thank you so much, Doctor. I will let someone else take over here.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I am already not a very nice dental patient. I did not need to know that the highest reason of insurance, whatever, is that the wrong tooth is working. Now I'm freaking out. I might have to go for root canal. I do not want to go. I trust
no,
all your skills.
there are a lot of like good dentists like allowed there.
How will I do if mine is one?
That's why we want our patients to be empowered as well. Say, hey,
nice.
are you drilling the right teeth?
That's like my worst nightmare that has just come true in my dreams now. But okay, moving on. So we have quite a few hands raised, which I love. But I just want to say we'll go with the next 6 people whose hands are raised, and we'll zoom through it a little bit than otherwise, so that we can wrap up on time and we can wrap up. And also, I think it'll be nice if you can speak a bit more about Indiana before we wrap up, so that application. So once we go to these questions, we'll go there. I'm not sure if my order is correct, but I think Dr. Shailaja, you can go next. You've been.
I think there was one more person before me.
Was it Dr. Vidya?
Yeah, I'll give her the chance.
Then, that is really sweet. Okay, Dr. Vidya, you, and then Shailaja, you can go next. Your audio is not audible. I mean, we can't hear you. You're unmuted, but can't hear your audio.
Maybe type your question in.
Yes, you can type your question. Or you can exit and come back and you can take the next question, whichever works for you. Yeah? Okay. Dr. Shailaja, you can go, and then Dr. Vidya can go next.
Sure, thank you. So yeah, as Manogna said, I know her very well. We graduated from the same dental school back in Hyderabad. And very pleased to meet you, Manogna, and of course the rest of the team I'm meeting for the first time. Good job, guys, for putting this together. So just as a brief introduction before I ask my question, so I'm a pediatric dentist back from India. I had 5 years of experience after I finished my master's there, and then I moved to Canada and then did my postgrad diploma in clinical research. And currently I'm working in Toronto General Hospital in a research setup, like I'm handling a phase 3 randomized control trial, similar to like what Manogna said. I'm working in the Department of Anesthesiology. So my only question is, I'm too early in the cycle, like I'm not applying for this cycle. I still have to give my boards exam, but I am prepping things together before I get into this journey. So I want to ask, is dental like shadowing or assisting experience mandatory to apply to universities?
That's a great question, Dr. Shailaja. And before I start, I want to say, just go for it. Like, apply.
Yeah, I would certainly have to give my INBD, Manogna.
Yes,
give me tips
yes.
how do I do that alongside my full-time job. As I said, I would need some tips over there as well.
Yes, absolutely. So one thing I would say, unfortunately, yes, Dr. Shailaja, we need some kind of experience, because one of the main things that they look at is, when we have this multitude of experience from like different careers and different aspects. They want to know that if you have ever observed even at least a US dentist or a Canadian dentist going through a day, So they want to have a good, I think a good benchmark is about 200 hours of shadowing.
Okay.
Like, let's say that's about like 1 to 2 hours every week for a year.
Okay.
Or if you want to just do it more, maybe 2 or 3 hours a week every year, every week for a year. That way, you're telling them that even though I don't have the visa, or I don't have the license to touch a patient, I know how a patient goes or runs through a dental office. I know what the dentist is doing. I know that the collaboration that happens in a US or a Canadian practice, which is very unique, of forehand dentistry, is very like different. It doesn't happen in most of the developing countries, right? And you have observed that, you know how to work with other team members. So I think it's kind of important to do that. And you have, I think if you're applying for next cycle, you have like great time. And they really like, I was doing the same. I did shadowing for 2 years because I was working full time
Right.
for about, I think, 4 hours every week.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah. Thanks.
And we'll
Yeah.
be in touch. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Probably I'll take rest of my questions offline. I want to give chance to others. Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Good luck, guys. Everybody. Yeah.
Flynn, I don't think you're audible.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I muted my mic to have some tea for my throat. Thanks, Mano. Vidya, you can unmute and go next.
Okay,
Thank
hello.
you.
Can you hear
We
me?
can hear you now. Yes,
Wow,
yes.
Hey,
thank
Dr.
you so
Vidya.
much. Hello, Dr. Mano. Hi from Indianapolis. And
Hey.
yeah, so I had like few questions. First of all, regarding IU. So they have like multiple links, like 5 links for LORs, 5 links for other certificates or other anything you can put, and 5 other links for CDE certificates or some courses. So I have this question, like, is it okay to put 5 additional LORs over there?
You don't need to. If you have, for me, I had community LOR is a must for Indiana University, as you know. So you need that community experience LOR. In addition to that, I had my other, like I said, from a clinical like chair from Piedmont. So I had like in total 5 LORs, 3 the actual CAPID LOR, 2 from the additional LORs. You don't have to like use all their links. And then CD, I just want to, it's a great question that you asked. CD also has links, but guys, I was told anything, you have to add only anything that's more than 3 hours, not the 1 hour CE courses that we have. Anything you have done for more than 3 hours is considered like a valid CE for your application. They actually don't care like all the little like CEs that we have done. So if you have any strong, like you went to a conference, you earned like certain credit hours for doing that, or you were engaged in a poster presentation, they appreciate those kind of like CEs, any certificates, anything. Yep.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great answer. And then can you describe something related to the Kira assessment questions at IU, if you could remember? I doubt, but yeah, whatever.
It's again wonderful questions. Thank you. That kind of covers the IU aspect, I think, Flynn. Kira is one of the assessments that's, I think, kind of becoming a standard for most of the schools. And this is really Kira made the application process easy for the schools. That's why they have crazy questions in Kira. Let me prepare you for that. So there are a lot of resources on YouTube. I think I think it was like Caapid Simplified, or there was another person who was helping people put out a bunch of questions that are in Kira. And then there's one document available on Google. As soon as you put in Kira assessment for dental schools, there's one PDF that pops up. Use questions. They ask weird questions, but at the same time, it's not very crazy. But some of my classmates got a question like, can you give me 5 uses of a cardboard box other than packaging?
Wow.
And they were like,
Interesting.
okay. Yeah. I was like, that's kind of tricky. Yeah. So they want to kind of test your spontaneity in that. So I was kind of surprised. I was like, I would be nervous when I'm asked question like that. My classmate was like, oh, you know what? I said, because I live in a apartment with another person, I use that as separating thing. And then I use that as a table for putting my laptop. And then the other person said, oh, you know what? We have opened the cardboard and used it as a room separator. I was like, that's pretty creative. So I think they have that kind of touch of spontaneity. At the same time, even if you're able to list out some and you smile and say, you know what, this is all I can think of, I'm pretty nervous. It's again computer recorded, but ultimately watched by an admissions committee, so they understand. Mine was more like what happens if a blind and a deaf person walks into your practice. How are you going to make sure that they understand? So my immediate thought was they won't just come by themselves, right? There's going to be a care provider that comes in. So I kind of catered my answer to that. And I said, I'll try to have some interpretation services because I worked in hospital system. They said, yeah, interpretation services is what every practice has, every school has. So they were kind of like, yeah, that's a valid answer. So like that, it wouldn't be too crazy. At the same time, they want to test your spontaneity. So I would say just go through the resources available.
Great. Like, this is a very helpful response. But other than that, I have a quick question regarding the Tufts University again. So
Yes.
they have this a specific question like, tell us the date when was the last time you practiced dentistry or any hands-on. So does it count my bench test preparation or is it just like actual dental?
Even if you have a home setup of bench prep and your yesterday was the last time you practiced, I would put yesterday as the last day. It's
Okay.
a tricky question by the like I
Universe.
said, the
Yeah.
yeah, the program director is a little tough.
Yeah. And the
So
other Yeah, the other tricky question he has put is like you can submit only one additional LOR, and then they have three links to put LORs like, and those are like all optional. So I'm like, should I? I do have three, but should I put one or should I put three? So yeah.
I would, like I said, I think it's very helpful to attend webinar of Tufts. They're very open. The director, like I said, when I say tough, I want to just clarify. I have immense respect for all the admission committee people. When I say tough, they're very like they stick to the criteria. They want you to follow that. That because one of the basic things I was told is when we do DDS, a lot of the courses are very self-driven. They have some asynchronous lectures where you have to listen and they expect us to follow the instructions. If they say I need this masterclass done by Friday to start the RPD design, the expectation is you will have the masterclass ready. For them, it's like, did you follow my instructions? Yes or no? That's all. So I would really use one extra LOR and then use the other links maybe for any other additional documents like CE, anything that you have done, courses, bench test. If you have gone to a bench test prep, then okay, no, that's fine, totally fine. Not needed. But anything that you have done a CE, I would just add that. Any qualifying document, but no more than one additional LOR.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you so much. I won't take a lot of your time, but have a good night after this. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Vidya.
Thank you, Vidya. Mano, just a quick follow-up question on what you said earlier. This less than 3 C credits, no,
Yes.
preferably. Is that something that you've heard from Indiana or in general from other schools? Because it
In
makes
general,
sense,
from other
but in general from
in
okay,
general from other schools.
more
So the
significant
school, yeah,
experiences.
the
Yeah.
school that I heard this from actually is UOP. That said, like we don't want to know the entire like 1 hour Colgate courses that you have done. We
Got it.
want to know if you got something out of like 3 hour course where you sat and you understood the
3
concept.
plus will add more value. Okay,
So
got it.
yes, yes.
Dr.
Even
Divjot,
BU, yep, that's right.
Boston, yes.
Sorry. Flynn, I have one more follow-up question because we were talking about letters and Indiana has a volunteer. Can I go, Flynn? Okay. Indiana has a volunteering requirement, right? Letter from a
Yes.
volunteering entity. Is there a minimum hours? Is there a policy? Is there a unwritten rule that
Yes.
they need?
They need at least 20 hours of volunteering.
Okay.
It's on their website. I think they update it every year. I think one of the candidates said a great point about reading the websites is very important. Every school changes the certain things, minute things every year. Like some schools said we were never going to take visa people. Then this year they'll say we are taking visa people. So things like that. I think it's important to read through, like I said, not all the schools, but the top 5, top 10, whatever you choose, and you're like, I want to get in. I visualize myself in that school. Those kind of schools, I would really go hard on the website and just go through the stuff. And IU has 20 hours. Let me just clarify that. I think it's very helpful. 20 hours minimum from a certified non-profit. They need that on the letterhead. And they check the like you cannot get from any person that you're volunteered, but it has to be a certified non-profit. And then they don't care what you have done. Like one of my classmates just cleaned the church every Sunday. They love it. She's part of my class. So anything that you do, it doesn't have to be dentistry.
Thank you. I think that answered Shabnam Jo's question. Thanks.
Absolutely. Can it be a temple? Absolutely. Mine is from a temple. I said I'm very spiritual. Yeah, I would set up like webinars, do dental like education, and clean the silverware. Yep. Again, Flynn, I think you're on mute.
So sorry, this is not a good
Is that a
recording,
new
but
thing
I
that
will.
you're using?
Yes, thank you. I will not. I'm not having tea anymore. Okay, Dr. Divjot, you can unmute and go ahead.
Yeah, am I
Yes,
audible?
a
Yeah.
little feeble,
So,
but yes,
Yes.
audible.
Can
yeah,
I, Dr.
hello.
Kaur, can I just quickly answer one question, follow up? Yes,
Yes,
Meenakshi, it's unpaid. It cannot be a paid volunteering, guys. Yes. Dr. Kaur, please go ahead.
hi, hello everyone. I actually have a question. I'm actually a new fresh graduate. Like I graduated in 2023, and for US experience, I shadowed a little bit over here in US, and also I'm volunteering right now as an FDA. So, and also I am in the rest of the days I'm going to a Trinity Community Clinic for doing some of my like volunteering as an FDA as well as a and as an BA and FDA. So I wanted to ask that what more can I add to increase my scope because I don't have masters or research or any preceptorships and stuff. So can I like add my creative side because I am really good at other things like, art and stuff. And I love baking and I've sold kind of cakes a lot during COVID times and stuff. And even I customize shoes and sell it. So can I add those things in my resume?
Yes. Yes, I'm excited. So one thing, let me tell you, one of the things I always regret is I'm a trained classical singer. And I did not flame that after certain like years. I now, when I'm singing lullabies to my kids, I'm like, dang it, I should have done that more. So anything that makes you unique, Dr. Kaur. Like one of the candidates that got into NYU last year does glass painting. She sells glass paintings. One of the other ones does ceramic keychains. The other one that I heard was she does knitting, like super good that she has a shop on Etsy. So admissions committee loves it. Like you're doing customized shoes, you're selling, dentistry is an art and medicine. Like it's an art
Yeah.
and science, right? You would do a great CD probably. You'll do a great crown prep with your like, skill set of like using your fingers and hands, which many of us might not have. So I would really highlight that. I think again every year it's a mix of candidates, so there is absolutely equal opportunity given to new grads as well. They appreciate you having the interest and enthusiasm to pursue DDS right after your BDS. And if I may ask, are you from India or Pakistan or
India.
India? Got it. So yes, so I would say, I hope you have like a good average GPA. I would
Yeah, I have
ensure you have a good TOEFL score. And then do you have a good, like, okay, TOEFL score?
I have 4 GPA and I have 104 as a TOEFL score.
I think that's great. So it meets the criteria of the schools. And then I would highlight all these things that you're doing in the community clinic, as well as you're doing this for like it shows the eclectic part of you as well, not the regular candidate. And one of the dentists that I worked with, mentors said, they don't want to have anybody who's like, um, he used the word, I'll tell you when I remember. Um, it's called like, they don't want to see every candidate just coming out of like a factory. Like It's the same doll that's being manufactured. They want to see somebody different. So I would really like encourage you to write your SOP catering to that, saying how you enjoy that, how you integrate those skills into dentistry, and then how you want to, get all that into BDS.
Okay. And actually, I want to ask one more thing, that is it all
Sure.
very useful when it comes to IU? Because I'm wanting to apply to, like, my priority is IU because I am here, I have a home here. So
Are you in Indiana?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So for the folks in Indiana and as well as people from nearby, we are going to soon advertise. But this year, IU and I just got elected into the International Student Dental Board. So we are doing a International Dental Day. Meenakshi, don't give me that smile. And like she can't sit still. I can't sit still, guys. So I have to be part of something, helping people. So we're going to do a dental day for international dentist students, just like we do for traditional students this year. And it's just purely to help students. So I would, once the flyers are out, I would highly encourage you guys. I think they're charging literally less than $100. That's how we are like driven. We don't want to be like some schools that I don't want to name, charge $1,000, $3,000 to just come and see the school. It's less than $100. So just come to the program, like the dental day. um, is the flyer already out, Dr. Patil? I think it must be. Yeah, $75. Yep. Dr. Kovalik was like, we said 100. She was like, nope, less than 100. So we're like, oh, dang it, 75. So we really want to. They're going to be mock interviews with the faculty as well. So it's a great day to like see the school, meet the faculty, and kind of like I've been saying, visualize yourself as a part of IU. So utilize that. Yeah,
Thank you so much. That's it.
absolutely.
Thank you. Zooming on to Dr. Krupa. Yes, Dr. Patil. Yes. My mic is on, right? Yeah. Krupa, your audio is muted.
Yes, that doesn't allow you to. Okay. Maybe I'll send it to
We
you
will
guys.
put
Maybe
it
you
up.
can look in the Caapid
Yes, we can
Simplified.
send it to you, and we'll also put it on the we will share on Instagram. I know it's amazing if applicants
Mhm.
can come and directly do it there. Krupa, are you trying to join from another? Okay, Krupa, while you figure it out, we'll go to Dr. Harshita and then we'll come back to. Okay, you're here, Krupa. Are you okay?
Sorry, my settings were off, so I couldn't turn on
That's
my microphone.
please go ahead.
But hi, Mano. Hi, Dr. Mano. Well,
Hey,
it
Dr.
was
Patel.
such, hi, it was so nice, like listening throughout. Um,
Thank you.
I have like two questions. So one is like, I was wondering, how did you approach the question of why dentistry in the US? Or like, do you have any tips on how to approach that? And also like, where to address it in the SOP, like in the start, at the end, or like in the
That's a
middle.
great question. That's a great question. For me, why dentistry in US was, like I said, I had reached a kind of, I wouldn't say peak, but a crossroads in my career where I was wanting to have a career that has a work-life balance, being a mom of two. And dentistry, from the 2 years that I've shadowed, I was really impressed by the working hours of a dentist, the flexibility that we guys have, and the technology. Oh my God, iTero scanner. I love that. Not taking impressions. So I was like, there is so much that I've learned in MHA, clinical quality, that I could apply to dentistry, serve the patients of dentistry to have a good clinical quality care every time they walk into my office, as well as be have the freedom to manage my schedule and still attend my daughter and son's games or anything, dances, whatever they do, school activities in future. So having that strong independence was my reason for going back to being an independent clinical provider. And the only field that I could be an independent provider is dentistry. So that's what drove me. Some of my other like friends have done dental hygiene as well and dental assisting. And I was actually impressed by the salaries that dental hygienists make. I'm not gonna lie. It's really good for not going to certain states have this flexibility. I guess Florida is one of them. where you can like have expanded functions, things like that. So any those kind of things, especially I think as women, we need that flexibility as we are evolving in the family when we have our kids and everything. Ultimately, kids do look to your mom like, hey, mom isn't here or mom is here. So that kind of helps to have the independence. That was my why. And your why might be absolutely different than mine. So I would just try to highlight like what is your reason when you sit or try to sleep at night and you're like, oh my God, it's so expensive to apply. What's your why for doing VDS? So that one.
Yes, that was really helpful. So I was like more specifically wondering, do I need to mention why US?
That's a good
Like,
point. Did you move here for like family or there must be a reason for like you moving or maybe having I moved here for financial independence because the salary back in India was like 6,000 rupees. And I was like, oh my God, it would literally cost me to go from my home to the practice more than that. So that was my
I,
drive to just get that. And any scholarships, any masters that you have done, what keeps you in US, I think they appreciate that. Go ahead. Sorry to
okay.
interrupt you.
Yeah, so I'm a master's in public health student at BU currently. So, like, can that be like one of my reasons why dentistry in the US?
Absolutely. Yeah. Did you BU, you mean Boston University?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So you can tie that, everything that you learned in your master's in public health, you want to apply, stay here in US and apply. At the same time, that is your like drive for practicing dentistry in US as well. And if you have done any kind of shadowing or assisting, you will see the stark differences that you notice. And then have something that ties you back in here. Like if you have a family, your extended family, anybody that's in US, that would kind of tell them because they're not the USCIS or the immigration people. So they don't care if you want to stay in US or go back home. So I would just kind of try to find that why. Yeah. So
Okay.
public masters in public health is a great reason to do that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And the other question I had was, so I'm from India. So when you say low, like it is very competitive. So when you say low GPA, how much low is the low?
Uh, that's a tricky question, Dr. Patel. You got me there. So I think again, I would want to stress back on the point that every school has its own like cutoff. Some say that not less than 2.5, some say not less than 3. I would really stick to that. That would be your like baseline for the low. Because for certain schools, it's okay for it to be less than 2.5. But as a general rule of thumb, for Indians, because there are a lot of qualified, again, we are a population of 1 billion people, very smart. So we have a lot of like qualified candidates competing for the small number of seats. So I would be a little more like diligent in making sure your application is more competitive.
Okay.
But that
Thank you so
shouldn't deter
much.
you from applying, even if it's like a little low than an average. Like Indians have like what, 3.5, 3.6s, 4s. And your masters also kind of counts. So they also appreciate if you have a higher GP in masters. If you had a low in BDS and then it improved drastically in masters, they appreciate that. So nothing should deter you from applying. I have a friend who is interestingly a part of one of the schools now. I don't want to name it, not the person, but they have literally a TOEFL score of 80, Indian, and they got in. So I'm like, nothing stops. I mean, it took them 3 cycles, but they were diligent. They were like, I don't care. What if I can't like talk great English or I can't be very good at English? I'm very good at dentistry. And the admissions committee was like, yeah, I think you can improve your English anytime. So
Got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
absolutely.
Dr. Krupa. We can go on to Dr. Harshita. Hi.
Hi, Dr. Mano. Hi, Flynn. Hi, Meenakshi. Hi,
Hey,
everyone.
Dr. Gupta.
Dr. Mano, I have one question. Like, from the known circle who have got admissions in the US dental schools and after attending a lot of webinars, I have this one thing in common is they have all done masters, maybe in public health or health administration, at least from the people I have spoken to. So are schools biased for taking in students who have done masters?
Um, Again, a great question, Dr. Gupta. I want to give you an honest answer and then an optimistic answer. Honest answer is there is a growing trend of students that are doing masters and applying to the cycles. Because again, all this information out there that kind of makes us believe that masters is the only way to get into a cycle or to be a part of that. But hey, but that's not a requirement. A lot of the schools, again, mix of the schools that have very low number of seats, competition is high. Uh, Again, there are like people like Dr. Shailaja who are like pediatric dentists from MHA grads, health informatics, public health applying, competing with recent grads or people who didn't have any masters. It gets a little tough with schools that have that. But there are schools that have good number of seats like UOP, BU, NYU, excuse me, that are open to taking students from all walks of life. So I wouldn't let that deter. And do you have a unique profile in that way? Like Dr. Kaur mentioned, she has something very unique. She's baking cakes, selling those. So those kind of things also play a part. It doesn't have to be masters alone. They need a well-rounded applicant.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if it's like masters, are there do they prefer something in the medical field only or anything else?
um for like something that ties you back in, like
Right.
something a little more related. Health informatics is something they accept. There are people who have done like information technology, and then but Indians very rare that do something like that. The cybersecurity person that I was talking to was an Iranian, so
Okay.
it's an interesting blend.
Yeah.
But are you a new grad, if I may ask?
No, I graduated in 2019. After that, I have 4 years of work experience from India. I
Okay,
moved to the US in 2023. Last year was my
okay,
first cycle, and unfortunately, I didn't get any invites. This
okay,
cycle, I'm trying again with now some US shadowing experience
okay.
and some bench prep, some research work, but nothing unique if I can put across.
Sure. So
Yeah.
let me assure you, one of my classmates and she's become a close friend of mine,
Mhm.
is a grad from India who has not done any masters, but she has like 4 years of work experience in India. And she directly just married and came, and she got admission in her second cycle.
Oh, lovely.
Are
Okay.
you? Yep.
Manifesting that. Thank you.
Manifesting that.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So like I said, nothing.
Thank
It doesn't have to be masters. It doesn't.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hi,
Sure.
Srividya, you can unmute and speak.
Hi, Dr. Mano.
Hey,
Hi,
Dr. Shivadev.
thank you for organizing this. Hi, everyone. So I don't know if you know me, Dr. Mano. I first reached out to you on LinkedIn for a referral at Piedmont.
Oh, okay.
When I saw you that you got into IU Dental School, I was so happy for you.
Oh, thank you.
I graduated in 2024 May, and you know, right, for international.
Dude, you just graduated and you're already on a webinar, so kudos.
Yeah, so I graduated in May 2024, and you know how for an international student there is 90 days clock to get a job. So that's why I communicated with you on LinkedIn. That there's no
OPT.
system, but you again just supported me with your reply, because getting a reply to on LinkedIn, I mean, it's tough. And now I'm working at U Chicago Medicine as a data manager and reporting analyst. And
Congratulations.
thank you. And I've been grateful that I have that I have a job now. But I primarily came to US to be a dentist, and now, I mean, during my masters, I was not able to concentrate on like preparing for NBD, and now that I have a job, I can focus. But I'm in the same boat as Sailaja here, um, because it's just going so much, and the work at U Chicago is productive. Like they work a lot. I don't know why. I did my master's in health informatics from IU, and I worked in Seal Indiana program. I worked for Dr. Armando Soto, who is from
Dr. Soto, yeah, public health.
yeah, and I worked for Dr. Thankam too at IU Dental School.
Oh, yeah. She's
So
informatics.
yeah, so I took a course in dental informatics from IU during my
That's awesome.
master's in elective. So I wanted to know about shadowing. That how much, like, how many hours should you do shadowing? Like,
That's a good question. And Dr. Srividya, you already know the workings of IU. Like it's very competitive, and especially when you're IU grad, you are held to a different standards regarding the application. So the expectation is you they have base, like the volunteer letter is 20 hours. The shadowing they don't say, but I think they mentioned somewhere. I have seen many of the universities saying at least have like 100, 200 hours of shadowing. That kind of puts you on the edge. For that, when you're working full time, I understand that. I was there. So for me, I was able to like talk to my manager and say, here, you know what, there's certain Tuesdays that I'm going to take a few hours off. I'm going to be, shadowing. So I would like, because dental offices start pretty early, right? 7 a.m. in the morning. So that will give you like probably 7 to 10. They don't work very late. Most of the dentists are very chill. By 3 o'clock, they shut down their practices. They still earn good. Probably time it a little early in your day, or a Friday when it's a little less busy at work. And of course, you have like waxing and waning in the work, right? During holiday season, the usually like other workplaces get a little light, but dental offices become extremely busy in December. So that's a great opportunity for you to use that time, holiday season, where dental offices are flooded with patients, and you can use those shadowing hours. So I would find a good dentist that's really close to your workplace, so you don't have to travel much, and try to start shadowing. But having good shadowing hours, being a IU grad, I think you have a great chance of like shining.
okay, thank you. And another question, this is the last question. I don't want to take so much time.
Absolutely.
I want to know about the financial, like, what are the ways we can get financial support to pay the fees?
Beautiful question. One of the things that I don't know who asked me the question about why so long for me to apply. That was mainly I came to United States all by myself, didn't have any relatives, met my husband in St. Louis, the love of my life. But I mean, money was the main driver for me that discouraged me from applying early, like pretty much right after graduation, because I was like, oh my God, that it's crazy amount of loans. I don't know who's going to sponsor me. I don't have anybody who can sign off a green card. Don't know anybody that can, give me loans. Now, the good thing is there's a lot of awareness among the lenders as well, that there are international dentists who need like these kind of loans. So there are many things pop up, like SoFi is one of them. SoFi still needs somebody from green card to sign off, or H1B, somebody who has an H1B, I-140 approved to sign off. And then there is multiple lenders, I think. I'll share that like resources with Flynn. But in my research, I was able to find 2 or 3 lenders that were really, but the interest rates are really high for, of course, if you don't have a co-signer and things like that. But there are a lot of lenders who are doing it right now. And I also would like to just take the opportunity to answer the question. Dentists earn good, you can pay off the loan.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good luck.
Absolutely.
Thank
US dentists earn well. I don't know about Indian.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking those questions.
Thank you, everyone. I'm just putting a hard stop here. I'm sorry I have to play the bad cop, but that's just the moderator's job. Any other questions? By now, you know that Manu is not someone to shy away from helping out or answering. So you all can always, sort of route the questions to us. Is that the best way to reach you, Manu, or do you suggest something else?
I would
Would you
say,
want us to
honestly,
create it
what
for
Dr.
you?
Srividya did, LinkedIn. I'm really approachable on LinkedIn, guys. And it
Amazing.
just, yeah, just send me a message on LinkedIn. More than in my email, I look at LinkedIn. So I'll respond and answer any questions you have, because I text, and I usually like put my phone on do not disturb mode. I'm so sorry. DDS first semester is very hard. So I'm really like trying to swim that semester with my two kids, and my literally the younger one is like 10 months old. So I have to spend time with him, and then the school, and then my older one is 4 years old. So that's why LinkedIn is the best time. I enjoy like being on LinkedIn, learning on LinkedIn. So if you send me a text there, I do check the like messages from people who are not my contacts as well. So I'll be able to like
That's amazing.
put you
I
guys there.
think LinkedIn is a great place to approach her, and I think you'll also get into the habit of sort of approaching people on LinkedIn. Maybe don't expect
Yeah,
everyone to be like Mano, but then just like shoot for the stars, and who knows. So you can cut off the middle person that way. You can reach out directly to her, but just in case, you can definitely reach out to us. Just remind us that you're this person from this webinar, so it'll be easier for us to sort of match the webinar in you. But thank you, Mano. My last question
thank
that
you.
I wanted to ask you was the loan, but I think Dr. Srividya covered that for us. This was extremely informative, and I think the time that we crossed is testament to that. And we really,
Thank you.
really appreciate you doing this. And without all of y'all helping out, we wouldn't be able to do the Pathfinder every week. We'll be in touch, Mano, for sure. But thanks everyone for joining. Good luck. Like she said, stay positive, visualize your goal, visualize your plan, write it
Every day.
down every day. It will really help you get going, and plan for every month or quarter, whatever works for you. You will get
It's
there.
not books, it's guys, it's neuroscience. Every time you
Yes,
visualize yourself,
exactly.
you're there, it's gonna happen.
This is not anything else as neuroscience. I agree. It's just about seeing it, writing it, you know, and just working towards it. Good luck. Take care. Have a good
Good luck,
night. Thank you so
everybody.
much for
Thank you
joining
so
us.
much for being a great audience. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.